Hey guys, Saki here with another Kerbal space program video. We got Tomsy ready to go in the last rocket we're going to send to the mirror. We have actually two stages of the space station with us. Heading to the launch pad now, we have the docking port parked directly above the Soyuz capsule, and then we have the last space station element, the Spectre module, on top of that. And I figure since we had to perform a rescue mission and the docking port weighs nearly next to nothing, it would be more efficient to just take both of these into space at once. And Tomsy, even though he's doubting himself, looks like he's up to the challenge. The launch profile looks exactly as the others have been, and this should be the last mission for the Soyuz capsule, I believe. I think since we'll have this docking port up, we can try to work on a space shuttle type launcher, and we might do some excursions out to Minmus and maybe launch a geosynchronous satellite above the Kerbal Space Center so they can get relays from Duna and other orbiting bodies that we are going to start sending satellites to. So a good first stage launch. We're 3,000 meters away from our gravity turn now, and halfway through this fuel load on this particular stage, throttling down to keep around 200 meters a second until we get to our gravity turn right here. We'll pitch over on the 90 at the 45-degree angle mark, throttle up a bit since we're leaving the thickest part of the atmosphere and accelerating towards the mirror. I didn't bring any Kerbals along for this particular mission. Aside from Tomsy, I figured the three we have up in orbit on the space station is good enough, and there are our brightest Kerbal minds in the Kerbal space program thus far, the ones with the lowest stupidity rating. Figured it would be good to keep intelligent Kerbals on the space station to do all kinds of experiments and not fall to the rigors of space dementia, if that's a real thing. I'm sure it is. I'm sure astronauts train nice and hard to, oh geez, a little explosion there, but no worse for the wear. I'm sure astronauts train vigorously to live basically alone and without gravity, floating for months and months at a time, but burning out towards our apoaps now, and we will see you in orbit. Alright, we've circularized our orbit, we've done a lap around Kerbal, and we're just using our maneuver node to see where we get an encounter, and almost at this exact part of our next orbit, we will be 1.2 kilometers away. So that's going to be our burn, and hopefully I can pull this off. So we'll see you there. And a 200 meter a second burn is all we need to get out to the mirror. Burning at that maneuver node indicator. A very small amount of delta V and fuel is used in this maneuver, and I think I can get away with just this fuel tank, and I won't need any of that reserve fuel parked behind my capsule. Luckily, this thing is nice and balanced, and this particular module isn't giving me the same problems that one did with the solar panel sticking out in front. This maneuver is going to come more difficult as we have two parts that we're docking to the space station instead of just one. But our maneuver is complete. Let's see where that puts us. Delete our maneuver node, and we are just get this lined up. 0.1. Alright, so we are going to do a nice flyby of the Mir space station. Looks like we're on plane. We've done our plane change, so once this space station comes into view, I will get back with you guys. Just one moment. Alright, here's the Mir screaming at us now. Wow, time acceleration. Oh, I'm done, missed it. Bye, Mir. Whoa. Assuming space had sound, that it would sound like a race car driving by, I imagine. But now we get to catch up to it. And since it passed just a few hundred meters below us, we can burn straight towards the space station and the sun and catch up to it and then accelerate towards it at a nice moderate pace. And it's already 4 kilometers out, so we can afford to burn a little faster towards it. Now we've stopped. Oh, and I ran out of fuel, darn. So using what fuel is left in this last tank should be more than enough. We're going to pick up our speed to about 50 meters a second and let time acceleration bring us closer to the space station, so we will see you there. Okay, here we go, pulling up beside the Mir, 200 meters away, and we've slowed down to 6 meters a second, and we'll bring it to a nice parking orbit and standard practice burn towards it. And our first section of the space station is going to go on that 4-way port in that open slot, and then the docking port will attach beneath that 4-way stalk in the episode Stick It Out. It's going to go directly south of that, so any space shuttle that we do build will not have problems vertically docking, just pulling up right beneath it and translating upward, and we should be able to park without hitting anything, which is the most important part. And we'll burn towards it at about 1 meter a second for a nice controlled approach, so we will see you when we're closer. Alright, we've orientated ourselves. You can see that trouble capsule on the right, and we're just gliding in as normal, using translation to keep us, and we made slight contact. Is that gonna be good enough? Hey, connect. Maybe a little rotation might fix this. Just letting the physics settle down and see if that magnet can take hold. We're right in between all those solar panels. And see if I can change my camera and point the capsule directly towards the docking port. Sort of counter its movements. If I see the station sliding over, I will do the same. Just sort of help this magnetism along. And then when you time accelerate, it shuts the magnetism off, but then as soon as you go back normal time, it realizes it's close enough to a docking port and tries to re-engage. And there we go, it's nice and connected. There's a look at our space station thus far. So now it's time to decouple from this section after we extend our antennas and satellite dish and get this docking module to the south. So I'll maneuver around and see you there. Alright, we've come south of our previous port. You can see that Stick It Out stalk right there, and right on the bottom is where this docking port is going to go. Now in a perfect world, that pink docking indicator will line up right on the north orientation and the horizon line, but as you can see, it's not quite there, so it's not directly above me, but I'm sliding towards it. I hit the space station, try to get my nose pointed up towards the port, and the space station starts floating away. So it's a matter of switching back to the station, getting it orientated back to where it was thanks to that probe body on that last module we picked up. I can do this without being docked. And just putting my direction right on the north and then rotating it to where it's even, settling it down. Now I can switch back to my docking spacecraft and have a nice north approach, reselecting that target. And I'm going to translate forward just to the bottom of that. So I'm coming actually under that port. And then as that pink marker passes over me, it will shift over to that north orientation that we want. And then I can just burn straight towards it. So there we go, coming directly below it now. And then once I get under it, I can kill my speed and approach it again one more time. And it's much, much closer this time. So I'm practically beneath it, and just forward translation, and then use the translation fine-tune controls to slide into place. Just like that. A nice shot of Kerbal below us, and luckily the sun is beneath us so we can gauge our approach. Just relying on the gauges, you could probably do this from inside the cockpit, but it's good to see how close you actually are. And oh, it's getting close, getting further away. We make connection, it's bouncing around. SAS is off, let's see if it grabs us. There we go. The mirror is now complete. So all I have to do is undock Tomsey, return him home, and make sure that this space station is in a nice 500-kilometer orbit. Just getting this thing pointed correctly, settle it down, and now the space station is complete. Now it's time to undock Tomsey and get him home. And here we go into re-entry. The dot you see on the planet is my debris left off from the launch pad at the Kerbal Space Center. I tried to go for style points and land right at the Space Center in grand fashion, but end up passing over it just a touch, but much closer than I have been in my last missions. But we pass 18 kilometers over it and then go careening into the ocean to the east. So close, but luckily the recovery vehicle doesn't have to go out too far. There it is, and now we're going away from it, getting ready to splash down now. End up 26 kilometers out from the space center in the ocean, and splash down. Tomsey has completed the mission, and now he gets the privilege of swimming home. The mission did not go off without a hitch, however. The close proximity of that first stage on the Sputnik rocket ended up breaking me, as you soon shall see. I didn't have enough Delta V after this explosion to get into orbit, killed my engines, but next time, brand new rocket, brand new mission. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.